Welcome to Travel Agent Achievers, the place to learn how to grow your travel business and have fun with it. Join Rosalind and her guests as they walk you through proven steps to a fulfilling and profitable business.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's Ros from Travel Agent Achievers. Welcome back to another podcast episode. Today, I am joined by the lovely Charlie Trevena. Now, did I say that right? Charlie Trevena?
Trevena.
Oh, Trevena!
The exact way, but I'm not fussy. My husband would be because it's my married name.
Yeah, that's true. So we're joined by Charlie Trevena. For those of you in Australia and New Zealand that know her, she is the incredible founder and stress-free webinar host of destinationwebinars.com.au. Charlie, welcome to the Travel Agent Achievers podcast. I am so thrilled that you are here and you're joining us today. We're recording very early in the morning. It's not really early for parents out there, but it's 7 a.m. Australian time and it's 10 o'clock in the evening for you over in the UK. Welcome.
That's right. Hey, Ros. It's so lovely to be here. Lovely to chat to you. And yes, good evening. Good morning.
Now, Charlie, when you and I spoke several months ago, we said we've got to do a podcast episode together. And then as we were organizing this, you said, it'll be pretty late for me at night. First of all, I just want to know, what are you doing in the UK?
So we, as a family, I'm here with my family, and, just after the years that we've been through with not being able to leave Australia. I mean, my family, are in the UK. I'm originally from the UK, and my husband, they are as well. So we just wanted to take the opportunity to spend some time here to reconnect with our family. My husband's in the fortunate position that he has long service leave, and I'm in the fortunate position that my business is online. So yes, here I am doing some random hours to kind of stay on Australian time, but it's absolutely amazing that it's actually possible. So I'm really happy to be able to do it.
How lucky are we? We are really lucky. Now, Charlie, so good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself from your travel career before you started Destination Webinars? So what's your background?
Oh, I'm like, how far do you want me to go back?
Look, we've got all day. We're up early recording this, right?
I think last time we spoke, we were like on the phone for about an hour and a half, and it was supposed to be half an hour. So I'm a bit worried how long we might go for.
No.
Okay,
we're keeping it short this time.
I'll start from the beginning, but I'll do the quick version.
Okay.
And also show my age. So yes, I've been in travel and tourism for about 20 years. Starting out in those post-uni, tourism jobs. I've been a ski instructor, chalet host, all that kind of fun stuff, and a backpacker. And then I guess the first professional job I landed in travel was in New Zealand. I lived in Queenstown for 7 years, and I was the sales and marketing representative for Coronet Peak and the Remarkables in Queenstown for NZ Ski. So any skiers out there?
Hello, snowboarder here.
I know you're a snowboarder. We're both snow lovers.
We are snow lovers. I'm a bit more après snow loving these days. I don't have to be out on fresh tracks, and I'm definitely not out there after lunch. I really enjoy being able to chill. I think I get a little bit more fun out of watching Jackson these days learn to ski. That for me is awesome, and taking him up to the top of the mountain.
It's changed now, cool. being a family on skis.
Yeah, it has changed.
It's lovely. So I guess the ski industry was my way into the travel industry. So, and then being the sales rep in New Zealand, obviously I started to come over to New Australia doing sales missions, and that was sort of my entry into the Australian market. And then I moved over to WA about 11 years ago. And was freelancing. Been living in WA for 11 years in Freo, which I absolutely love. And as a contractor, so I did a few roles. I was on the road there for Rocky Mountaineer. I worked for Travel Alberta. I do a bit of work with Destination BC, and my main job was also with Destination Canada, and it was running their Canada Specialist Program webinar program. So I know webinars sort of got popular in the last couple of years, but I've got the claim to fame that actually I've been hosting them since 2011.
Oh my goodness. So you know all the pitfalls and how things actually started back in those early days.
Yeah, well, the technology was a bit clunkier then. When Zoom came along, I was actually over the moon because I was using other technology at the time, and Zoom arrived and it did all the things that I wanted it to do. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So Zoom actually was a bit of a game changer. So yeah, webinars weren't quite as easy, and the videos didn't work and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely come a long way. I think it hit at the right time. 2011 was a bit of a trickier time to host webinars, but we did it for Canada. Destination Canada have always been super progressive in that area with training, and also getting that training direct from the source. So the webinars I always hosted with them were with the Canadians in Canada. And I guess for me, that was really the start of, having training direct from the source, from the locals, from the people who know, and the agents, the Canada Specialist agents just loved it. And that program runs fortnightly. And I've been hosting that, for now 11 years, fortnightly.
Amazing. So did you get to go on, the Canadian roadshow tours as well?
I used to be at Canada Corroboree. Yeah, no, I used to be at Canada Corroboree, and I used to host pre-kids. I used to host for Mails to Canada and pre-COVID, of course. So yeah, I guess in that sense, I've got a lot of love for Canada. It's where the webinar journey kind of started. And then the opportunity in 2020 really came about that, I was off the road then for Rocky Mountaineer. I lost a few of the other smaller contracts and I had a bit more time. And in honesty, like Destination Webinars was an idea that I had a few years prior, but I was busy and I had children and all of that stuff. So 2020 was really it was an opportunity. It was a moment of, I actually think people might need help with this right now. And if I'm ever going to do it, it was a bit of a now or never moment. So that was why I actually managed to turn it around pretty quickly in 2020. So technically, Destination Webinars is more than 2 years old now. So I launched in April of 2020. So I already had a second birthday, which is cool. And also, of course, I was fortunate in terms of COVID, as we talk about, opportunities and being fortunate that because those other roles had fallen away and then I'd qualified for JobKeeper, that I was actually able to build Destination Webinars off the back of JobKeeper. So it really was an opportunity that was just kind of thrown in my lap as the world began to fall apart, and also just being able to think that I could do something helpful at a time when obviously things got really dark.
I think that's one thing. It's definitely one thing that I love about you, that you saw, COVID hitting and the pain that so many people were in and going, how am I going to navigate, the next couple of months? I mean, I honestly thought that it was only going to be a few months. And then I was like, it'll only be 6 months, not 2 years later. But I love how you saw it as a way to also help other people. So like us with Travel Agent Achievers, it's what can we do? Like, I think for you and I, it wasn't even a doubt in our minds to say, just drop what we can or put aside or get other help in areas that we need, but to be able to be there for other people and support them in their journey. Like, you have that expertise in the webinars for so many years, like myself with business. So it was like, what can we do to support and bring as many people through this time? And I love that about you. So thank you for stepping up and just going, you know what, here it is. And I'm actually going to do this to support as many people as I can. But a lot of us, we know you from the webinars where you jump in, and as we said off there, you jump in, you're like, hey,
like you.
Welcome.
Just hello, like do the welcome chat.
Yeah. And then you let somebody else do their thing, and then you finish up at the end. So, I mean, I'm fortunate. I know that you've got 2 kids, that you're currently in the UK. So how are you now juggling? You've got family and business, a mother in business. Like, things have really changed for you as well, working from home. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, they haven't, because the funny thing is, because I've brought my business with me, it sort of is just life in a different setting.
Yeah.
And also it's actually really useful that my husband is on long service leave here. So in a way, it's actually a little bit easier because he is now in charge of the children in terms of, who's leading the charge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's always a juggle. Even talking back to sort of 2020 when we rolled our sleeves up, and wanted to help, and it was really rewarding. But I kind of joke about how I missed the COVID downtime and all the Netflix and chill. I'm like, I didn't get to do that.
Yeah, I still have friends that are like, "Oh, did you watch this?" I'm like, "What? What show? Oh, that hasn't."
What show is this? I don't watch TV. I don't watch Netflix. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So, I sort of did miss that downtime as you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, not in a complaining way, because it's been super rewarding and it's been an amazing journey. But it has been a juggle, and it's been a juggle right from the start. And yes, as a parent, that's it. We're navigating running our families and running our businesses, and there is a lot of guilt in there. And there's, my kids, as yours and anybody's would be, a lot of, "Oh, mum, do you have to work? And will you come to the park? And will you?" And it's like, "Well, no, I can't do that today." And it is hard and it is a juggle. But I also hope that my kids see that, that I do have a life outside of the family. And, I love them and I spend time with them, but my work is also important to me. My running is also important to me. That's another thing I do outside of the family and outside of the business. And, that we have these kind of multifacets to our lives, really.
Yeah. Hang on a second. You're a runner as well?
Well, running.
When do you set that in? Is that like 6 a.m. over there in the UK?
Yeah, kind of get it done early, and at the weekends. I've always said that for my COVID journey, with navigating all of the COVID issues and then being busy with business, running really was the thing that kept me sane through all of that. It was my time out, it was my time away from the family and my time away from my computer. And I like to run alone a lot. I do go to group runs, and I run with a really lovely running group once a week, but I will do 3 or 4 runs a week just by myself. And I love that, just brain space and alone time. And if I can't figure something out, sometimes you're like, "Oh, what am I going to do about this?" I say to somebody, "I just need to run on this." And I will go out for a run and I'll figure it out, because you can just focus on one thing at a time. So yeah, running is also a big part of my life and a big part of the business journey and the COVID journey and the parent journey. So it's kind of a part of who I am as well.
I actually really appreciate you sharing that, because as business owners, and I see this not just in the travel industry, because I coach and mentor a lot of different businesses, but I see that, we do often put ourselves last. And as business owners, to have a hobby or a sport or an activity outside of family and outside of business, I actually think that it's pretty rare from the people that I speak to. So I just want to say, please keep that up, because you're inspiring so many other people to find the time to take care of themselves. Yeah, okay. I was going to say you're inspiring me too, but I think mine is probably
no,
to go and have a coffee.
It's more just so that I don't get grumpy, because my husband will say to me, "You need to go for a run." I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then I'll come back and I'll be fine again. I just need that little bit of time out. So
time out and time for you. I love that brain space. For me, if I'm in a rut or there's something going on, if I'm able just to even pick up a notepad and go to a cafe or go to a different space, it's not my office or it's not the kitchen or it's not somewhere in the home environment or my home office, then that for me gives me that opportunity to breathe and just soak in whatever else is going on around me. I love, though, that it's an exercise thing for you. I wish I was that ambitious. I went through a phase.
I'm happy. No, I'm quite happy to go sit in a cafe by myself as well, or on a plane or anywhere really.
Absolutely. The plane time is so good. I love that.
So good. How good is it to be on a plane, especially as a parent? How good is it to be on a plane by yourself?
Yes,
It's like
that
I
too.
did a couple, I was lucky actually. I did do a couple of domestic trips before coming to the UK, which was amazing because I've got a bit of FOMO now about missing out on the face-to-face events that are happening because obviously they're all coming back. And
I
now
was
I'm
going to
now I'm
ask
over
you
here.
about that because I'd seen that you were coming to Sydney for a couple of events and that you attended things. I'm like, I can't believe I've missed Charlie because
I
I'm north of
know.
Sydney.
And
I couldn't
I had
believe
the
it.
best week in Sydney catching up with people, but not you, unfortunately. And I also did the Colette Travel Forum in
In
Cairns in May,
Cairns,
which was
yes.
amazing.
I missed that as well.
Oh, so
Anyhow.
we've missed each other twice now. Now you're gonna have to wait for me to get back. But I
I
know it
don't
was
have
great to do
anything
those
planned for
trips.
Europe. Yeah, I don't have any trips planned for the UK or Europe right now for the next few
Oh, if
months.
you come over here, I'll come. I'll get on a plane and I'll meet you somewhere in Europe, and we can like do some business stuff and then do some fun stuff. And
Love that. I love that, Charlie. The problem that I have there, though, is my sister has spent the last 17 years in Germany. She actually came on a backpacking trip with me and stayed in Europe.
wow,
Met a husband. They're no longer together, but has two beautiful kids. And they literally 3 weeks ago arrived in Australia. So my
oh,
sister and my niece and nephew, who's now 16 and 12, and they're spending 6 months here with me in Port Macquarie. So
so now you
they've done
can't
an
leave.
exchange. Yes,
I
and
can't meet you in Germany now. I actually grew up in Germany as well, so I'm really keen to get back there. So
I was just planning my trip for next year last night. So, you never know. We might have to do the swap again somehow. We
so
will meet up. We will meet up.
let's go on a big like travel trade retreat. You can do the business stuff. I'll come and hang out. Yes, I'm well up for it.
You're not the first person that's actually asked me about that, Charlie, to
There we
run a
go. I'm
retreat.
booked in then.
There we go. So Travel Agent Achievers, look out. It is coming. We will be running a retreat 2023. We're just determining the destination. And I'm sure that Charlie has got some amazing contacts. I'm in for Canada. I would love to go.
Yeah, I'll get you hooked up for Canada. I've got heaps of contacts for Canada. Are we going skiing?
Well, we have to, but it has
This
to
is
be
a summer
spring
trip.
skiing. Can we make sure that it's spring skiing so we've got some really good weather in there?
Well, if we go spring skiing, then we can always get on Rocky Mountaineer as well. So, that's a good combo.
I think this is a great combo. We're just pulling it all together here as we're recording. Look out, everyone. All right. So, Charlie, let's jump back to destination webinars because right now, there's a lot that's changed over the last couple of years. But one thing that I've certainly seen that right now, or even over the last few months, everybody is under pressure. So how do you keep things fresh, or how do you keep advisors motivated or engaged with their training? Because even before we got on this call, we said, numbers have dropped off a little bit, and that's normal. Like we were expecting that would happen. But how are you now trying to navigate this new era that everybody is busy again? And trying to get them engaged.
And I'm always super honest about this stuff, about how things are going. And yeah, for sure, numbers have dropped off. Somebody said to me a few weeks ago, yeah, it's not 2020. Yes. In 2020, our webinar turnouts were huge, obviously. It was the only form of engagement that we had. Yeah. And I did do a lot of soul searching at the end of 2021 to think, is this done? Do people need me anymore? Or everybody knows how to do this stuff now, right? They've all been figuring it out. But I still had, inquiries into 2022, and I thought, okay, well, we'll just roll with it, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the suppliers feel and what the agents feel like, and if they're still keen to come. And actually, yeah, it's still been a really big year. I mean, I guess in terms of engagement, my tips are that sessions are shorter in 2022. Like gone are the days where people want to do an hour-long webinar, right? It's just too much. No one's got time for that or the brain space for it. So I guess my main updates, the main sort of services I offer, one is called a Live 25. So it just keeps the session, under 30 minutes, but the main bulk of a presentation is 25 minutes. And you can do a lot in 25 minutes. You can do a lot in 10 minutes, to be honest. And the other one is the coffee cluster series. So back in 2020, I would host 3 suppliers a week with 15 minutes each. So like I said, that session would go for an hour. In 2022, we still run the coffee cluster series, but it doesn't just go forever. I'm doing it in blocks now. So we have like a 4-week series in May and June, and then we have another 4-week series, October, November. And there are just 2 suppliers of 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely the time factor, just really appreciating everybody's time. Also, I'm pushing people more to
up the times, Charlie, as well. I mean, for me with Travel Agent Achievers now, like, so just once a month, because it's something that we can all commit to. We have a coffee connection and coaching session, like on the first Friday.
Yes, I've seen that. I love it.
And it's just fun. It's to find out how everybody's doing in life and business, and if they got any struggles or what's going on.
It's great.
But that's 9 o'clock in the morning. If I could run it at 8 or 7, I probably would, because it just gives everyone the opportunity to come in. I don't have my coffee by then though, so that's a big issue.
Fair enough.
So have you tried the times?
The other thing, so the coffee cluster, the old coffee cluster series used to be at midday on a Thursday, and we would just do the session once. Now, again, just accommodating people's, lives and busyness, all of the sessions I run have 2 sessions. So whether that's a live 25 or a coffee cluster, we run the session twice. Generally, those times are 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Sydney time. Yeah. Or AEST or AEDT, whatever time zone we're on. And I find that, and of course the agents are logging in from all across Australia and New Zealand. So that's the other thing. You're trying to accommodate either a 4 or 5 hour time difference depending on the time of year. So offering the 2 sessions is really good, and it's not really that much more work to do exactly the same thing twice. Like, it's all of the work is really in the prep and building the registrations and pushing it out and the follow-up. So it really doesn't make too much difference if you run a session once or you run it twice.
Yeah.
So that would be another tip if anybody's, thinking of looking at hosting sessions, and also maybe just play around with some times for your audience. I mean, I do run them at other times as well, and that is generally supplier based. So one of the series I run is a monthly series with Hong Kong Tourism Board, and because 9 o'clock is a bit early for them, because they're the same as Perth, actually. That would be 7 in the morning. It's a bit early me and you are happy to jump on, and I will work at any time of day to make it work. But as a presenter, we sort of keep those to reasonable time, so that those sessions run at 12 and at 2. I've done sessions with European presenters where obviously it's first thing in their morning, so we do it later in the day in Australia. But it really is, I guess, just finding the balance between the audience and the presenter and what's going to work best.
Yeah. So with that as well, and I think that there are also now a number of advisors who are niching into particular industries or destinations and certain things like that. So I think that that's also really important for their education to be on these webinars and destinations and getting the supplier updates. One thing that I've also found is that there still are a number of advisors who want to stay connected to the industry, that are wanting to come back but might have part-time jobs elsewhere. And so I've even found that running a 7 p.m. webinar is helpful for a number of people as well, because they can have dinner or they can just show up with their food at the webinar and take in what they need to, but they're still staying connected to the industry. They're still staying connected to their business, and that could work from an agency point of view and suppliers. I know with you running them any time of the day or night, but then also for advisors who are looking to put together a group, for instance. How can they connect with potential clients who are wanting to join their particular things? So, which just brings me to the next phase, which is your webinar expertise. And for advisors even now so moving from the supplier side of things, which you do so well, but I've certainly seen over the last 12 months in particular, a lot of advisors are now looking to be an expert in a niche or an area. So they really want to just focus on one or two things, whether it is a destination, whether it is a personality or a person type or an activity, but bringing their travel expertise into something. They still want to stay connected to the industry. So, for them, if they wanted to run webinars, a supplier is interested in that as well, to do it from like an advisor and have a host, because I can guarantee a lot of people out there, they don't want to run their own webinars. They don't want to run their own Zoom calls. They're like, nah, this is
and
all too hard.
that's why I came up with the job title, like stress-free webinar host, because the idea of hosting a webinar does stress a lot of people out, right? And it is, if something goes wrong, you are live. And I always say to my presenters, this is what I'm here for. If something goes wrong, we will troubleshoot it. I will help you fix it. We will laugh about it. We will move on, and we will figure it out. I'm not going to leave you dry, just like panicking on camera. We will figure these things out. But I know there are some agents hosting webinars with suppliers for their clients, which I think is, yes, an amazing idea, or even agents just hosting them themselves. And I guess to gauge whether your audience is up for that, maybe, you could just put out an EOI and say, hey, I'm thinking about running a webinar. Would you be interested? And would you come? And what time would suit you? And maybe to start with a bit of a survey, is probably a good way, to survey your clients and to see what they might be up for or what topics they're interested in.
Are suppliers open to that?
Yeah, they definitely are, because they do their consumer nights and things. So suppliers are definitely open to collaborating with agents to do consumer updates. For sure. And I think webinars are just part of the toolbox now. It's part of the marketing toolbox. It's another medium. Not everybody likes them, and there's plenty of agents that say, I'm over webinars from 2020, I'm done with it. And I'm like, that is fine. That's cool. Find your information somewhere else and connect with your suppliers on other levels. But it's just another way of delivering the information and building that connection, especially for remote agents or independent agents, home-based agents who don't get those visits from suppliers, or then they don't see people as often. It's really important for them to stay connected. So they're not for everybody, and they won't be for all of your clients either. But there will likely be a small group of people who are happy to connect with you that way. And it's just about figuring out the best way that's going to work for your business.
Yeah, as you say, it's an extra marketing tool to go into your toolbox or into your arsenal of all the different things that you can potentially be doing, whether that is from an advisor and supplier or as advisors to be jumping onto your webinars as well and getting those updates and destination details. Even if for me, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have an hour to sit on, but I love your format that it's grab the most valuable pieces of information that you need so that you can then move on and focus on the next thing that you've got to do. But from jumping onto one of your webinars, I think is a really good way, and to also showcase advisors that it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to go for a couple of hours. I think half an hour is high.
Half an hour max now. And also a lot of the sessions that I run, even within that half an hour, are double presenters. So for the Canada series, for the Hong Kong series, for the coffee clusters, that half an hour is also split. So, and then what I do for the recordings is I actually separate them. So if I have two presenters in one webinar and they're doing maybe 12 or 13 minutes each, when I put the recordings out there, I have separated them so you can just watch 12 minutes back at a time. Because I think the first thing we do when we look at watching a recording is, oh, how long is this bloody video?
Yeah, you can zoom across the bottom there. And
have a look at the toolbar, and it's like, right, if that's over 30 minutes, I am pretty much out. unless it's something super, super important, really compelling. And so I think as well, from a recording perspective, keeping them as short as possible is also, it makes people more likely to go back and watch them. And I even do another series called a 5-minute Friday, which is a pre-recorded update, but it's only 5 minutes. And again, do you know what? It's amazing what you can learn in 5 minutes.
Ollie, so, have you got your own podcast series yet happening?
Just webinars.
Okay, because I think you could even turn your content into a podcast series. I mean, there are many people who are out there going for morning walks, that are taking, you know, putting the earbuds in whilst they're making school lunches, or that are doing their thing. Having a 5-minute Friday session just to go, oh, cool, these are the updates and this is what's going on. I would love something like that. So I know that it's destination webinars, but let's turn it into the snippets of destination webinar podcast series.
But, you know, I did have destination podcasts also side by side. I just couldn't do them both at the same time. And I think the hard thing about the webinars is that obviously it is very visual, and the suppliers are sharing slides, and we're talking over slides. So I can't just take that content and turn it into a podcast. It does have to be a separate recording that obviously is not supplemented by visuals.
All right, so we're going to brainstorm.
It's on the list.
We're going to brainstorm this, and we're going to get something out. So everybody keep an eye out, because Charlie, you do this so well, and you host such beautiful webinars. I know that you said, look, I come in at the beginning and I finish off at the end, but you have that knowledge and the expertise that you can talk from your own stuff. So that podcast series, everybody, you heard it first here. She's getting it out. I'm not going to put a time frame on
5-minute Fridays is turning into a podcast series.
Ta-da! See, she's already made the commitment. I love it. And this is now recorded and going out there, Charlie.
I know. This is it.
5-minute Friday podcast. Yep, I've got that. It's already written down as well. We're coming back to that. All right. So last thing is tips for engagement. How can you, like, what are you doing to get people to show up for these webinars now? For engagement, show up rates,
engagement. I mean, show up rates. Well, the other thing about show up rates is that I always encourage people to register for a webinar, even if they know they can't come, because they're putting their hand up that they're interested in this topic or this supplier, and they will get all the follow-up and the recording link as well. So I also feel like, don't be too hung up on the show up rate. If somebody has registered for your session, they've shown interest in it. Show up rates typically over 50% is good, and less than 50% is okay. But anything over 50 I find is pretty good. But like I said, I actively encourage people to sign up even if they can't come, because we still want to know who they are. And this is where webinars, talking about it from a marketing perspective, webinars are an amazing lead generation tool, because you're capturing all those emails and those people who aren't interested in what you do. So but then, in terms of being engaging, sounds weird. Be yourself. And I think that's always been part of my process, and having done it for so long, is that you just get comfortable with doing it. And like I said, when I'm briefing the presenters, I say to them, we have a casual start and we have a casual finish. So it's very chatty. You have to ask people for engagement. So ask people to put messages in the chat box, ask them to use the raise hand tool and send emojis and all that fun stuff you can do on Zoom. And then, so engagement wise is, be chatty, be engaging, ask for engagement, keep it short and sweet. Which is why we do the short sessions. Send out the follow-up. The follow-up is a really key part of the process, and especially for those who haven't made it live. So send a big thank you and supplementary information. And even if someone doesn't catch up with the recording, then they've been engaged because they've got all of the follow-up info. They know who the contacts are. They know who to go to. Those are kind of
what are your thoughts at the moment with prizes and things? If you show up, you can get a prize, or we'll send you out this prior to the webinar. Like, have you got any thoughts or opinions on that?
I do have thoughts around prizes, because it's something I get asked a lot. I think prizes are a nice piece of goodwill. So it's a thank you. In terms of incentivizing agents to come, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference unless, of course, we're talking about some awesome prize that is just, everyone is so excited about. But in terms of gift cards and smaller things, I find that it doesn't make a huge amount of difference to the actual registration numbers, but I do think they're important from a goodwill perspective. So I like to give out prizes. I build in $50 gift cards into the BYO Coffee Cluster series so that we give one of those out each week. And I think, so in terms of that, it's prizes are just acknowledging people for coming and for their time. And then, you can use bigger prizes to incentivize signups. And to be honest, it is a tool that I use for pre-recorded webinars. So another thing I do is a monthly mini series, which is pre-recorded with one supplier. And, just to sort of give that deadline on watching the series on a pre-recorded piece of content, then a prize is also a really useful tool.
Yeah. Okay.
I do think prizes are important. They don't have to be huge. But I do think it's nice to acknowledge people for taking the time and giving them the opportunity to win something.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you. Last of all, how can advisors, join your sessions? What do they need to do? How can they find you?
Probably I send out a weekly newsletter. So that's probably the best way of finding out about the sessions. So you can subscribe to the newsletter on destinationwebinars.com.au. And yes, and I send out a weekly newsletter with all of the upcoming sessions, any pre-recorded sessions that we've done, and now a little bit of news about live events that are coming up as well. We're pushing those out a little bit. So the newsletter would be the main way. I also do post the sessions onto the Destination Webinars Facebook page. So you can give us a follow there. Or if you don't like doing business stuff on Facebook, there's a LinkedIn page as well, which I cross post to. So it is the same stuff if you'd rather follow on LinkedIn. I haven't quite got my head around Instagram yet. There's just too many things going on.
I know, right? There are so many
channels.
You've just got to pick one. That's what I say to her.
I'm like, just pick a couple. And so Facebook would be the main social channel that I use.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of resonates with the audience as well, that most travel agents have their own Facebook page, and we're all sort of, connecting with clients on Facebook. So yeah.
Makes sense for you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Charlie. There were lots of great nuggets and pieces of information here. Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself as well, because we do see you on the webinars, but we don't get to see what's going on behind the scenes. So for those of you that are in the UK or heading over to Europe, make sure you reach out to Charlie and say, hey, where is the best coffee to get? She may not be able to give you that advice, though. Just
when you need that to work through the night on Australian hours. It's all good. Or when I'm back in WA, love people to come and visit me in Freo. Everyone comes to Freo. They go to the markets, they go drink coffee. So yes, when I am back in WA, and I'll be back on the East Coast as well, because I'm gonna make up for all this FOMO and start coming to events as soon as I get back.
I know. And then when we have our Travel Agent Achievers retreat, Charlie will be there, and it's going to be
if I'm allowed to be. I feel a bit bad, like I'm gate crashing your travel agent community.
No, this is one thing that I love about the community. It's not just travel advisors, and I work with people all over the world, but we have suppliers, we've got people like yourself that are supporting the industry. Like, I just love it. And I think together we can all rise, and the collaboration over competition, you and I are both, high-fiving that, because there is enough business for everyone here, and we're all here to support one another. And I think that comes down to our heart and integrity and who we are. So I'm thrilled that you are part of our world and part of my life. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. That's so kind. And I feel the same about you. I absolutely love what you do, love how you're supporting agents, and I would love to support you in any way that I can as well. And the community that you're building is wonderful, and we are on the same page when it comes to collaboration and lifting each other up. I think it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I collaborated with a few other travel support services, and we're all just trying to help, right? We're just trying to make things better for everybody.
Exactly.
And help the industry recover.
Our own expertise in different ways as well. Like, I love that. So that we all have certain skills, and that's not just us that have put ourselves out there, but it's also for everybody who is listening to this podcast episode. You all have unique skills, expertise, knowledge in certain areas, and I just love that we can all share that together. So thank you so much, Charlie, for being here. Thank you everybody for listening in today. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again. We will have everything in the show notes for you, as well as how to connect with Charlie, but make sure you go to destinationwebinars.com.au, reach out to Charlie, let her know you heard her here, and join one of her sessions. They're a lot of fun, and she is amazing. So thank you once again. Have an awesome week ahead, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Travel Agent Achievers. If you love it, please share it on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure you tag us too, so that we can shout and share with you, as well to your friends and colleagues. We are here to help as many travel professionals as we possibly can. Don't forget to check out the travelagentachievers.com website for loads of resources and tools to help you grow your travel business. We'd love it if you shared a review and you subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode in the future. Now, I truly hope this podcast gives you so much value and ideas to help you build the incredible travel business you deserve to have.